Here's another home improvement tip from Tod and Todd.
So one of the questions that we have to ask ourselves here is, are we going to replace these interior casings? Todd, what do you see here?
Well, Todd, one of the issues that we have in this home, it was built in 1982. We're in Franklin, and the homeowner has a wooden window. This wooden sash is made of pine. Right next to that wooden sash is a white vinyl jam liner. Doesn't look real nice together. Next to that is a pine stop next to ranch-style casings. And then in the top of the dining room here, to finish everything off, we've got beautiful colonial oak trim. And none of it matches. So Todd, why is it that homeowners normally don't address these type of woodwork issues when replacing windows today?
Well, one reason, it usually adds cost, okay, and it actually takes a long time to replace the casings, because you have to bring a carpenter inside the house, and sometimes they set up in the garage, okay, and then they have to make custom cuts, and then it has to be custom stained, and it's a long, drawn-out process, and people are tracking in and out of the house,
Okay.
all day long for days at a time to get these replaced. You can even see that, in the original woodwork that's been done here, there's gaps in the corners. They filled it with some material here to try to close those gaps. And this, that's why people generally
Okay.
don't do it.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and replace this window and then show you some of the newer installation techniques that are going to address the woodwork problems with this home.
So here we are at the finished product. As you can see, we've got a beautiful finished product now. What we did was we actually had a pre-made manufactured interior casing that was built specifically for this window. Before we put it in, we actually took the time to make sure that it was insulated properly, and then our installers just simply slip it onto the opening, and within about 90 seconds we've got a finished trim. Today I'm here with Pat Upthegrove from our manufacturing partner, from our manufacturer who makes our interior casings. So Pat, welcome. Just a couple questions for you, if you could help us understand what makes this different than actually building interior casings on site.
Sure. What we use here, Todd, is a pre-stained to closely match our window color and pre-assembled box unit to fit custom to this opening. So it's customized in the width to this particular window, it's customized in the depth to meet the window properly, and it's customized in the height. We can do all that in a controlled environment at the factory rather than bringing in a finished carpenter to the job site, set up in the driveway or the garage, make their mess there, in and out of the house maybe 10 or 15 times per window to cut and assemble the trim on the window opening here. So it literally saves anywhere from a day to a day and a half of labor on the job site and all that in and out mess.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about, is the time factor. What about the quality of the cuts and the tightness of the corners and the square? How is the quality of this unit better being done in a factory than it is on site?
Well, we feel great about the quality that way. We're able in pre-assembling to put these miters together extremely tightly. We're able to know what the finished product is before it actually comes out to the home. Inspect it and know it's the corners and the quality that we want before we put it on the house. You're not taking that gamble of having a trim carpenter on the job and looking at the finished product afterward and hoping that you get what you want out of it.
Do they sometimes fill the corners and that kind of to make up for the gaps?
I think we saw that on this house before we took the trim off.
We did, and that's not something that has to happen with when we have a manufactured piece like this.
No, in a controlled environment like that, we know in advance pretty much what we're going to get and the quality that we're going to put in the house, which is the key.
What about the stain matching? Because I understand that you take a lot of trial, and you take a lot of testing to try to get to the closest possible match to the existing wood grain of the window. Is that
Sure.
Is that true?
Sure. We do spend a lot of time on it. Again, because we're doing it all in advance, we have that time and we can get it right. If you just look at this window, the cherry wood grain to the cherry oak finish is just a gorgeous look, extremely warm. I think the key to this whole system that you've got here is the ability to stain the solid oak to match the vinyl window. Is an extremely warm look in a house.
Well, I think it looks terrific, Pat. I really appreciate you coming out. Thanks so much today. If you'd like to learn more about our manufactured interior casings, just fill out the form on the website or give us a call.